You have been sneezing for months, runny nose, cough, itchy eyes, and sometimes none of that happens except a persistent runny nose. You've been battling allergies, or at least so you thought, and nothing is working. What else can you do? Welcome to your daily health briefing. I'm Dr. Albert Tackett. This show is here to help you navigate the complex U.S. medical system, one step at a time. Whether you are decoding a new diagnosis, fighting for a referral, or just trying to stay informed, you are in the right place. Let's get into the science. Now, this is the story of my patient, Jessica. Jessica is 42 years old. Tells me that she's been battling allergies for most of her life, and oftentimes it just manifests as itchy eyes. She has a itching in her throat, and sometimes she has a cough, but most of the time she just feels stuffed up. Her nose, she can't breathe, suffers through the night, and this tends to happen in the spring. But she also mentions that even outside of spring, she sometimes has the symptoms in October, in November, sometimes in December. And so she's very confused and like, Doc, am I allergic to something all year round? And I said, Jessica, I'm glad you asked, because this is the story of a lot of patients, right? So let's delve into the science here. What are allergies, and are allergies to blame for every time you have a stuffy nose? Now, allergies basically, without getting too much into immunology, is a reaction of the body to something, and this is an allergen, this something. When you are exposed, for the sake of argument, to pollen, I am allergic to pollen, and I'm sure many of the listeners and viewers are as well. Your body meets this pollen. It gets into your nasal passages, your throat, or otherwise, and it gets into contact with your immune system. Your immune system creates a record of that pollen in the form of something called IgE. That is a type of antibody. This IgE antibody binds to certain cells called mast cells, and then they trigger something called a mast cell degranulation. And what that happens is these mast cells release little bombs, which are histamine bombs, and these histamine bombs are responsible for all the allergy symptoms you get. Runny nose, itchy eyes, itchy throat, just feeling bad. That is why most allergy medications are called, you guess right, antihistamines, Allegra, Claritin, etc. They are all antihistamines. The problem is that for most patients, once the bomb has been detonated in the form of histamines, these medications don't tend to work anymore, right? And so patients just keep taking Allegra, take Zyrtec, take Claritin every day, and they don't work, but there's nothing else for them to do, so they just keep taking and suffer through the allergy season and other subsequent periods of the year. But here is the kicker. Sometimes your symptoms are not even allergic, right? So we have allergic rhinitis that is caused by allergies. Rhinitis just means a runny nose. It's caused by allergies. Other times, almost 50% of the time, people are dealing with a non-allergic rhinitis. That is, they have a runny nose and stuffiness that is not caused by allergies, but they attribute it to allergies. And so you have to look at conditions like vasomotor rhinitis, which is a condition whereby people tend to have reactions to changes in the weather, in the climate. For instance, when it gets too hot, it gets too cold, or rapid changes in temperature from heat to cold, their noses get stuffed, right? That's why it's called a vasomotor. It means the blood vessels in your nasal passages are very, very sensitive to temperature changes, and they make you stuffed up. And you call it allergies, but it's not an allergy. And so at this point, I know you're saying, all right, Dr. Takem, I heard you, sir. You know a whole lot about allergies. What does that got to do with me? I am still stuffed up and I don't know what to do, just as Jessica told me. This is where your doctor has to be your ally to help you get better. The first thing is to distinguish, is it an allergic rhinitis or is it non-allergic? So in patients who have moderate symptoms and the symptoms tend to recur either seasonally or during the year, and the symptoms are really bothersome, you have to start with the first step. That is allergy skin testing, right? You have to test and see, is this person really allergic or is he not allergic, right? That's the first thing. But of course, in this modern healthcare system where everything is fragmented, everything is rushed, everything has 1,000 moving parts, patients usually get lost. They bring it up with the doctor ignores it. Asks their cousin says, I also have allergies, I take Zyrtec, I take Claritin, and they do the same. And more importantly, pharmacists also benefit from this confusion because look at this. Check next time you go to the pharmacy, look at the whole section over the counter for allergy relief medications or nasal relief medications. There is a plethora. I have long suspected that the over-the-counter section of the pharmacy makes more money for the pharmacy than actual prescription medications. Because when patients feel miserable, what do? They go in that section with a shopping cart and pick up anything. Nasal relief, sleep better, stuffy nose, everything is going into the shopping cart because you are miserable and you need relief. But this is where your doctor, especially a primary care doctor, has to sit with you and say the first step is determining whether you actually have an allergy or not. Because the treatments are different. If you have allergies and they are recurrent and you suffer as much as you're doing, then you get allergy skin testing. And next, you have to get immunotherapy. Immunotherapy comes in two forms. You have the sublingual immunotherapy, which is one you put under the tongue. You have subcutaneous immunotherapy, which are injections in the skin. And these have been shown time and time again to actually retrain your immune system so that you do not react to those allergens and make people feel better. And just in case you were wondering if this is a common problem, up to 50 million Americans suffer from this rhinitis or runny nose, and up to 50% of them have mixed symptoms, allergic and non-allergic rhinitis. And most important, skin testing or allergy skin testing has an 85% sensitivity, meaning that an 85% chance of catching everybody who suffers from allergies. And in that fact, you might also have people who do not really suffer from allergies, but at least we will get 85% of people who do. So today, there are actual treatments for allergies, right? And so you don't have to suffer with Claritin, Zyrtec, Allegra, all that dance all year long. Secondly, if you do not have allergies based on your skin test, now we know you have non-allergic rhinitis. What are the options? Now you're a good candidate. There is Flonase, which is a topical steroid, an intranasal steroid, and other medications that can be used. But more importantly, you can walk away saying, well, I know I don't have allergies, right? So the annual party with Claritin and Zyrtec ends and you save some money. So it's very important to know. But for this to happen, we have to take time as a doctor and a patient to delve into the symptoms and come up with a game plan. Now, I hope you are getting this kind of care. So as I wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with these 3 facts. Stop guessing. Start testing. Allergies can be dealt with. You can retrain your immune system. Immunotherapy is effective. Do not suffer in silence. Find the help and get the help you need. All right, so I will see you next episode because the fight for your health doesn't stop here. See you next time. This has been the Daily Brief. Medicine is not about certainty. It is about responsibility. Decisions are often made with incomplete information, but they are always made with your safety in mind. In a system that can feel rushed and fragmented, you deserve clarity, continuity, and an advocate who sees the whole picture. I am Dr. Albert Tekken, your physician ally, high-level science, human-level care. I will see you at the next briefing, or I will see you in the clinic.